All right. Good evening, everybody. So my name is Damola Oladipo, and I'll be studying in for Peter while Peter gets ready to take over from me as soon as he's back, and he will do the practicals. I'll take you through the remaining theory and share my screen where necessary, basically. All right. So yesterday, you had different conversation around the fundamentals of software engineering. You had the concept of client-side model. Yeah, let me take it forward, right? Client-side modeling, what constitutes the back-end development, the front-end development, and basically the goal was to expose everyone on the call to the foundations of software engineering and what differentiates the server-side programming and the client-side programming. So from yesterday, you'll have seen that anything that deals with the interface itself, what the user interacts with, is what we call the client side. Why what happens on the background, just like Peter made mention yesterday, like when you are ordering food in a restaurant, all the cooking in the background in their kitchen is what makes sure that what is coming out to your table is ready-made and you can consume it. That's pretty much a simple explanation of what differentiates the client side from the server side. So using an example of, let's say, Chowdeck or Paystack. So what people interface with is probably the dashboard, their Paystack dashboard as a business person, right? Why that is the client side. They go to maybe paystack.com and register an account, or the mobile app and create an account and log in. That is the client side part of the software, right? People interact with that. And then there's the server side, which houses Paystack databases, houses all their infrastructure, their APIs and all of that, so that they're able to interact with what the user sees. And then from there, the user can interact also with the server side, basically. And what makes this interaction possible is kind of constant. Let me go back to that slide and show you. Yeah. So what makes it possible, especially in the concept of 1 second, let me unmute everybody. In the concept of a browser, is that, for instance, now how google.com work is that I go to Google on my client side, either my mobile application or on Chrome, or I go to my browser on my computer and I type in google.com. So Google takes my request, right, and sends my request through a DNS server. The DNS server converts google.com to a set of IP address, right? So you can see from my client side, it goes to the DNS server. This is one. From the DNS server, it converts this string to a series of numbers, right? A series of IP address. And then from there, it goes to the server. So the server check, based on this address, I want to fetch the exact page in which google.com exists in, right? And then from that server, the home page is displayed on the client side. And this is pretty much how it works across any kind of client side and server side. Same thing with Apple Watch. Apple Watch is like the client side, right? Apple has a set of infrastructure that the Apple Watch displays all those information, right? And uses similar model, sends in a request to Apple server, and Apple server sends back the request to the Apple Watch. Same thing with desktop applications also, like we're using Zoom, for instance. So all of what we're doing basically is happening. We are seeing we are interacting with the client side of Zoom, while there are a lot of infrastructure going on around in the background, making us to use Zoom efficiently, basically. That's like an overview and a recap of the conversation yesterday. And we mentioned of the different kind of front-end languages that is possible that you can use, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and also what backend is, which is developing the server side and can vary from Node.js and Django, which is Python, and some other languages like Java, like C++ or C#. So before I proceed to today's class, and he also mentioned of the intersection between these two sides, what we call full stack engineering. So one person can decide that I want to learn how to develop both the client side and the server side. And so the person is what we call, he understand both the front end and the back end, and the person is called a full stack engineer, basically. So before I proceed, do you have any question from yesterday's class? And then I can basically move from here. Anybody with any concern, any comments? Can you put comments in the chat box or mute yourself? I'm very sure that we can proceed with today's class. Can you put all good or yes? All good. Oh, cool. Thanks, Lanre, Ayomi, Benga. Who else? Abiodun. Thank you. So let's proceed. So okay, so if you have questions, go to Slido, same code as yesterday. You can use that same code to ask for question on the board, basically. So I'll be starting with the concept of pseudocode. So what we're trying to achieve with this beginning class basically is that engineering or writing code, it's not the only knowledge you need as a software developer, either a front-end person or a back-end person or a full stack. You have to be end-to-end. You have to understand what it takes to build softwares that are maintainable, scalable, and you can implement features that really anybody who sees your code base can really understand what you're trying to implement. And that's the concept of pseudocode comes in, right? So pseudocode lets programmers write application plans in plain English before transferring it into a programming language, right? So this activity is used to pursue formal software requirement models. All the requirements include the functional as well as non-functional requirements. And then the constraints are specified by these models in totality. Pseudocode is typically written in uppercase, and the 6 primary characters or the keywords are sequence, right? They perform action while with the condition at the beginning, it's a loop, right? Until I'm going to give a demo of how this works in a real sense, apart from the example that is here. So if then else is giving you like, okay, if I want to do this, then do this, right? Then case, like grouping the if statement, the then, and the else together. So how this work is that, imagine you want to write a code for authentication, right? So, yes, authentication of a user to Facebook. Now, how this work is that instead of just proceeding to go into your VS Code and inputting a series of code, why not write out the step-by-step process of how you want to implement that authentication system? Step 1, user input email and password. Step 2, user click on submit, right? After submitting, the system receives the data. If the data is, are you seeing the step now? That's step 3. System receives the data. Step 4, if the password and username is in the database, right? Then user login, right? Else, the user is asked to register. Are you guys following me? Can you put on table that you followed my simple expression that I said just now? Can you put in the chat board, please? Right? So it means that you've already written, you can't see my screen.
I can see your screen.
All right. So what I'm trying to explain basically is that you have to learn how to write pseudocode to explain what exactly you want to implement, basically, right? And it helps you to give you an overview of what exactly you want to implement as an engineer. So using the example I mentioned, I'm going to share my screen, my studio code, my VS code now. I'm not, Peter is going to come on board later on and show you, what's it called? And show you different, can you still see my screen?
Yes, yes, yes. I
Can you
can
see
see
my
it.
VS now? Can you see my VS code?
No, no, no.
Okay, 1 second. I'm coming. I'm coming. I'm trying to pull up my data. My laptop is slow. I've been using it for many things today. Mm. Let me share my screen. That way you can see my VS code. Can you see my entire screen now? Huh?
It's just the pseudocode that is there. I can't see this. Oh, yeah, yeah, I can see it now. I can see it now.
Okay. Oh. Yeah, I'm trying to open another. All right, sorry. Okay, so basically, I just want to show you an example of how the studio code will look like. I'm just going to create a file here and call it text code.text. Right. What's going on? All right, cool. So if I was to write a pseudocode, pseudo for an authentication. So if I was to write it now, so I'll say user impute step 1 now. So I'll say begin, right? Then I put this user impute email and password. And the next step is check, can you see, check if email exists in database, right? Then after that, if email exists, check if password matches the stored password. The next step is if password matches the grant access to the user, right? Next is else. 1 second. Else, display an error message. Email not found, right? Are you seeing, can you guys, do you guys follow me? I hope you can see my screen, right? So you can see this is an example of how authentication work in plain English. So meaning that now I cannot go back to my code now and begin to write how this will be implemented in Java.
Hi, Damola, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm sorry, can I come again? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so I think
Hello.
I'll just try to take over from here now. Thank you so much.
Have you been able to share your screen now?
Yeah, I am able to do that now. I see the
All right,
share
cool.
okay?
Okay. All right,
All
Peter,
right, so let me
over
just
to you now.
share my screen. Please, guys, let me know if you can see my screen.
Not yet, probably is loading.
All right, hold on.
Yes,
Can you see it now?
it's still loading.
Okay. Please let me know.
Yes, I can see your screen now.
Okay, so everybody else, can they all see my screen? Right. All right, you guys. So who is excited to be here? Who is excited to be here today? Because I know we've had so much technical difficulties and so many challenges, but we beat them, and then we're now doing amazing things. Can everybody see my screen here?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Maybe you guys should give me like a thumbs up or an emoji for where you can see my screen if you can, so I can go ahead and you know give us this amazing experience that we deserve. All right, so we have Ayomi. Thank you. Thank you, Ayomi. Thank you. Okay, you guys. So today, I'm sure so many of us are wondering what they are seeing on the screen right now and like, what is this? Today we will write code. We will write a program. I am so excited. You guys, you don't understand how excited I am to start writing code with you people. Because that's been a lot. All right, so I'm just going to clear all this pseudocode by doing Control A and then backspace. So that takes that away. Let me delete these files as well. All right, so when we want to start a new program or want to start writing code for a new app or whatever it is that we want to do, we can go ahead to go to our file section on our computer right here. And then we can create a new folder. I'm sure a few of us have the idea of how to create folders on our system. Can I get a thumbs up? A thumbs up from these amazing people. Does anybody know how to create a new folder on their system? I'm waiting for a thumbs up from you amazing people before I go ahead. Thumbs up, thumbs up. Okay, thank you, Farida. Okay, so I'll create a new folder like this.
Sorry, I
create
can't
a
see your
new
screen.
folder.
Sorry. I can't see your screen.
Oh, you can't see my screen? Who else cannot see my screen? Please notify me if you can't see my screen.
I can see your screen, but what I'm seeing
You
is
can see my screen. Okay.
Rain Ford something.
I'm thinking maybe it's your network if you can't see my screen.
I'm
Oh,
seeing
we can't
Because
see
Jeremy,
others
Jeremy,
can see my
Jeremy.
screen.
website that we can see your website.
Okay, so we're creating a new folder for our new app. This is our new app. Our new app is called Builder Studio Bootcamp.
Hello.
This will be our new fun web app. We're going to build
I'm not sure you
a
can hear us.
form. Users, excuse me, is someone speaking?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Hi, Larry.
Looks like your screen is frozen. And what we can see
My screen is
is,
frozen.
yes, what we can see is just Jeremy, Jeremy, Jeremy. Is that what you intend for us to see?
Oh, yeah, it's not frozen. Oh, yeah. It's not frozen. It's not frozen. It's not frozen. It's just a test app. Like, can you see? Can you see that it's moving?
Yeah, I was just wondering if that's what you intend for us to see, but fine.
Oh,
Thank you.
yeah, that's what I intend for you guys to see. Yes. I will
Okay.
start the app right now. Let me just clear that. Okay. So I'm creating a new folder called Builder Studio Bootcamp. And then I will have to open the folder in VS Code. How many of us downloaded the VS Code app?
Where are you building? Where are you creating the folder? Where are you opening it in VS Code?
Okay, I created a new folder here in my desktop. Inside my
Oh,
desktop, I created it under Builder Studio. Sorry about that. I have a lot of folder here. This is the new folder.
sorry, we can't see your
Builder
desktop.
Studio.
We are still seeing the group.
Yeah. I think I gotta share that too.
Yeah.
Okay, let me share that as well. Okay.
Probably need to share your entire screen.
Oh, the entire screen. Let me do that. Thank you for that suggestion. Okay. All right, I'm sharing my entire screen now. Please notify me if you can see my screen.
Yeah, so we can see VS Code now.
You can see?
Yep.
Yeah, all right, okay. So this is the new folder, Builder Studio Bootcamp, that we created. This is where our software will be living in. We're going to create a new form. We're creating form for user sign up. So everybody, please follow along and make sure to share your code and results to me. It's important to follow along and share your code to me because I will review them and I will respond with constructive criticism. Okay, so let me just close this. I want to open VS Code as a new user so we can all start, along. Okay, so I will go to my VS Code app. I'm sure all of us already has the app. Visual Studio Code. We have it here open. So we open the Visual Studio Code and then we open our folder, which is Builder Studio Bootcamp. We open it inside VS Code so we can write our software into that. As I said yesterday, or some of us that are very new, Visual Studio Code is a software to help us write code, to help us write our code. The human readable code that we write, when we write like English words, the computer does not understand that. But Visual Studio Code helps us to turn those human written words into zeros and ones that the computer understands. Because obviously, if we're writing code in zeros and ones, it will be very, very confusing and very hard to maintain. How many of us understand zeros and ones? And there's so many algorithms and ways to write zeros and ones that you can write 100 zeros and it can mean hello world or etc. So Visual Studio Code helps us write those human written words into zeros and ones for the computer to understand. Let me just update it. Let me just open this The app is updating. Okay. Okay, guys, I guess my bill just look this. It's there. The software is having an update. I'm just going to try and open it again. Also, remember, guys, to leave your questions on Slido. I will review them after we finish the session. Please ask your questions on Slido, and then I can go ahead and check them and respond to them. All right, Visual Studio Code is starting up. Okay, we have Visual Studio Code right here, right now. It has the previous app data on it. This is when you open your Visual Studio Code initially, this is not what it's going to show up for, because I have opened it up previously. It just has the previous app data. So I'm just going to open up the Visual Studio Bootcamp by clicking here on File. When I click on File and Open Folder, it shows up file. Open folder. This is okay. So you see that it opens up our file folder, and then I will select Builder Studio Bootcamp, which is where I want all my code to live in. Right here, Builder Studio Bootcamp, and then I select the folder and then open it up. And then Visual Studio Code will open up the folder for me. As you see here, it's opening up the new folder. All right, so we're going to be building a web page. The front end of a web page, amazing people. I'm going to be building the front end of a beautiful web page. I'm going to be building up a sign up form. So the first things first, as I told you yesterday, who remembers what is when we start a web app, what is the first thing that we're supposed to build? I think I spoke about that yesterday when I was differentiating between two specific things and two things that they do. On the front end, I was mentioning two specific things. Please answer right there in the comment box.
Skeleton. That's you need to build the skeleton first, then you flesh it up. I think you said something like that yesterday.
I'm sorry, I didn't get your message, Larry. Please, can you come again?
I said yesterday you were saying something around the skeleton. You have to build the skeleton first using HTML, then you have to call it with CSS.
Oh,
Is
yeah. Thank you for that. Okay, so the first thing first is to create an index.html. So the index.html is the skeleton of the website. This is where all your skeletal code will live, just the body, just as we saw in the previous image of yesterday. Apologies to those that did not come to yesterday's class, but there was a sample, but this is supposed to be the skeleton of the website. So the first thing that we'll first press to generate the pseudocode for us is control and then number one. I'll press control and number one. Oh, excuse me, shift and then number one. It should show up these two things. Then we'll press this first one. This first one here with the one permutation. Then this is the pseudo code that we need to generate and start building our web app. As we see here, we have the doc type. So this here specifies the document type to the website. So when we load this on the browser, it says that the document type, the doc type means the document type is an HTML document. We also have the JavaScript and the CSS documents, but this specifically, as specified on there, is an HTML document. And then here with the HTML tag is the language. The language that our app is on is in English, as you can see here. EN is English. There are other ISO standards, but right here we're using English. We have the head. All the tags inside this head is what we see here in the browser. What we see here in this place. Can everybody see where I'm pointing at? What we see here, can we see? Well, when I hover, you see latest exciting tools for adventurous people. Everything that lives in this head here is for here, this part of the browser. So we have the meta char set. This is just a Unicode data. This also meta tag is for the website viewports, as you can see here. So the website is allowed to scale and reduce, when we visit a website on our browser and when we visit it on our phone, we see that it has a different structure. It looks different on both documents. Right here, this is the title of the app, title of the web app. Here it says documents. If we open it up in our browser, as shown, this is how I'm opening the new app on our browser. I'll just drag this file from here to my browser right here, like this. Very easy. I'll take this file here. Yeah. Here, I'll drag it to my browser display. Then enter. There is nothing here because we haven't written anything here. There's nothing here. You can see it's empty. But if we look over here, we hover. This is document written here. This document written here is what is this title. If I change it to Builder Studio, and then press S save. To hover here, let me refresh. I'll refresh the browser. And then hover. Can we see that it has changed to Builder Studio? Like I said, everything that stays here in this head tag is for right here in the browser, up here. Okay. Now, what goes in this body, what goes inside this body is things that will be shown here at the center of our browser. Today, we're going to be building a form for user sign up. There are various tags. We have the H tag, the A tag, the form tag. There are various multiple tags that we can use on our web page. You don't need to do all of them. You can be very dynamic. Certainly, I don't know all of them. Many software engineers don't know all of them. We just know the ones that we need immediately. And sometimes you can even use different tags to build new things if you want. So I'm going to start with, but if you want to build a cinematic website, you can go ahead, just find out a little bit about some of these tags. So this is a form tag right here, because we're building a form. And then if I start with an input, type text, and then look in here, I will just press Ctrl S. Remember to save. You have to save this before you then go back to your browser and refresh. You can see here the input here. Let me write a name. Let me give it a name. Which one? Builder Studio. Remember to save. Then go to your browser and refresh. Can we see? This is our new app that we're building. As we see here, this is our new app. Now to build the form as shown in yesterday's image, I'm just going to go ahead and have a label here and then give this an ID. This ID is an identification, a unique identifier, what our user know. Like when I want to call this thing, let's say I want to call this input on my browser, this ID tag is what I use to uniquely identify it, because I can have multiple tags for my web browser, multiple. But this ID right here will help us identify it So I'll give this a unique ID of, let's say, name. Now this label, well, let me just write here, username. Username. Remember to save, I have saved, and then refresh. You can see here, username. Now, when I add this 4 keyword for this label, is what we use it to join this ID and this label tag together. Because we can have various labels as well. We can use multiple tags in multiple different places and multiple different ways. Okay, happen. We can use multiple different tags in multiple different ways, but we have to be able to tie them into one specific parent, into one specific person. So we have to have their IDs, and then this label has to have a 4 keyword. The 4 keyword is what we use to tie this label to this name, to this input here. Because these two are now their different elements on the browser. So we have to tie them together. Please remember to ask your questions in Slido, and then I will attend to them after we finish building. Okay. So here, I can just put them in like this. Yeah. So I have tied them together. Then I want to build another input for password label. You don't have to do it like this. You can also do it like this if you want. I'll do it like this if you want. All right. So I want to build another input for password. So instead of having a type text, I'll have a type password. Because when I want to create a form for users, there will be a field for them to input that password. Then this is an ID of password, then password. Okay, and then refresh. Right here, go down. That's all. Password. Save, and then refresh. You see here, no designs whatsoever, just having a plain form. We can even have a button. Button, this is submit. Save, then go back to the browser. So you see here, the form just looks plain, no design, it's not fun, it's not interesting. If you see this on the web browser, you're like, what's this? I don't even understand what's going on. You see a username, you see a password. It's not fun, it's not interesting to look at. It's not interesting to look at. It's not very demure, not mindful. I'm sure a lot of us have heard the new TikTok trend, demure. This form is not very demure, it's not interesting. So what we would use to style this form, because we just have the skeleton now. We have no styling. We have the foundation, but no styling. Very ugly. Users will not want to use this app because they're like, they don't understand what is going on this app. Don't have any idea what is going on this app. So what we would use to style our app is called CSS. We use CSS to style our app, and then we can just create a new CSS file by going over here. Over right here, you see here it says new file. You click, and then we can just create style.css right here. So this right here is what we use to add styling to our not so demure app. This builder to the app. So when we create a new style of the CSS here, we have to link it to this HTML because now they are just two separate elements, two separate entities. They have nothing in common. They don't know each other. The style of CSS does not know the index.html. They are strangers. So I will go here, up here, and then add a link tag inside the head tag. Style them together. So add them together. I'll go here and add a link tag here. Link CSS. So here, so add a link, and then as you see, there was a autocomplete. Let me do that again. Link. There's an autocomplete here, so you can click here, link, and then this href is the location where this style.css is. The address, if I should say so myself, the address of the style.css. I have to tell this my HTML document, okay, go to this address to find the styles. So this is how I'll point to the address. I'll press my dot slash. That means go up one file, go out of this file. You see here, the dot and then the slash takes you out of the index.html, and then I can just press the style.css, and then it goes into the style.css. Now they are both linked. A lot of us practicing might forget to do this because when I first began, I also made the mistake. I kept forgetting I was supposed to link my style sheet with my index.html, and then I wonder why I don't see those changes that I make. You have to always remember to link your style sheet to your HTML so they can know each other and be friends. They can be a couple. Okay. Now I want to create styles. I want to add styles. What I would do is these IDs that I gave right here, this unique name, this unique identifier, I will use it to add styles to these individual elements right here. The unique names and the unique identifier. Let me just give this whole form a unique name. Let me give it users form. This unique ID, that's what I used to identify this form right here. So to select the unique form to be this ID right here in this HTML, they are already linked. To select the unique form, I'll press an hash. And then after I type in an hash, this name that I use right here, builders form, I'll type it right here after the hash. And then open a bracket. I have selected this right here, this form right here. I have selected. Are we following, guys? Let me know if we're following, you guys. Give me a thumbs up. You're following. Thumbs up, you guys. Thumbs up. Okay, I see a thumbs up. I see a thumbs up. Thank you, Farida. Okay. Don't forget, I expect to see your own samples of this project. Remember to submit yours so I can leave constructive criticism. For all hardworking and amazing people, we should all try to do better by practicing. All right, so I want to add styles. I can go ahead and do background color. Let me give it a very ugly, strong color that we can see, red. Press S to save, and then go to your browser, refresh, so we can see the change. We see the background color here. You can see this whole background color that is red is this whole form right here. This form right here. With the background color red, this is it here. That contains all the browser, the form, this is it here. And this is the element of the form. All this, that right here. Here they are. Now we see the form, it's red. I don't really appreciate the color red, so I'm just going to make it purple. So I like purple. And then I saved and refreshed. Okay. Then I don't like the size of the form. It's too wide. It's too big. For me, it's too big. So I'm just going to give it a smaller width of 300 px. Px is the unit of measurement. There are several units of measurements. We have px, we have rems, we have ems, we also have percentage. These are the units of measurements in CSS. We have px and percentage. Px is not so flexible when it comes to unit of measurement. When you give something a px of, let's say, 500, it remains that way and then it doesn't resize. We all know that we have different devices and different devices has different sizes. Am I onto someone? Different devices have different sizes. So this PX just specifies a strong unchangeable size. The M's and REMs take a while to explain. Please, if you want to find out more about this, please reach out to Favor at Leader Studio. I'll respond to your messages by giving you more deeper dive into REMs and M's. Right now, I don't think we should focus on these two. So we're going to focus on PX and percentage today. So the form has a width of 300 PX. Then I'm going to refresh. You can see the width right here. See, the form is now smudged into a width of 300 PX. Okay. I want to change the color of this Builder Studio. I don't like it. I will give it a better color. So let me just give this one an ID of Builder Studio text. Studio text. Builder Studio text. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and select it right there too. Okay. I want to change the text color. So for text, to change their color, we use the color attributes. Color attribute, and then I'm going to give it a color of white. Let me say white. Let me see if I like it. If I don't like it, I'll change it. Save and refresh. White. White. I'm not so sure. Maybe I should change the fonts. Font family. Let me change it. So we can see here that there are various font families. We can just pick any one that we choose. I think I'll just go with this. Okay, I'll save and then refresh. We see, can we see the change? We see the change here. Okay, I think I like this. I like this. I appreciate this. There isn't quite a lot of spacing inside this form. There isn't any spacing, so I want to work on that spacing. So I'll go to the parent container, which is this form here. Here, this form. This one. I want to add spacing inside it. I want spacing, all these words and letters that are at the edge. I don't like them. So I'll give it a padding. Padding is for spacing inside the container. Spacing inside. So I'll give it a padding of, let me say padding, a padding, top and bottom. I'll give it padding top here and bottom here of, let's say 10 px. The left and right here, left and right. Let me give it a padding of 15 px and then save. Let me refresh. Can we see the spacing at the top and then the bottom? See here. And then we see it left and right. 15 px left and right. The 15 px is showing here, but it's not showing here because the element does not actually reach the end of the container. But there's actually 15 px. If we want to identify it, we can just go onto this form element and right click on our laptop and then press inspect. Now, a tab will pop up. You see the tab here. Can we see? The tab pops up right here on our screen. If I see the form, can you see our form? See, when I hover over this form tag, can we see it? Look at the form tag. When I hover over it, there's this deep blue here, and then this kind of faint color around it. The faint color around it represents the padding of 10 px at the top and bottom, and then this left and right is the padding of 15 px. Right here. You see right here under it, can we see this hash here? This is the styles that we applied. If I just turn this color off, it changes back to blue. Turn this off, change back to the default style. See? So yes, I want to style this container more. Let me give it a border radius of 20 px. Save. Remember to save and refresh. The border radius give it this corner. See this corner? This very kind of cutesy, very demure corner. See here. The corner. Should I give it a height? I feel like it's taking the size of the elements inside it. The form takes the size of the elements inside it because I did not specify a height. So I think I would specify a height so that it will look very, very nice. Let me give it a height. Let me give it a height of 40% and save. Then refresh. 40% is refresh. Okay, 40%. Let me give it a height of 100%. Save. Refresh. Okay, I think this is the actual height because yeah, the 100% height is the 100% of its container. So here you see the body. This is the full size of the body. The body is this is the 100% height of the body. See the body here. The body as well is taking the height of the contents inside it. And the content of the body is this form. So when I give it a size of 100%, the height is already 100% because this is the total size of the new container. So there is nothing else to take over. There's nothing else to fill. Hence why the 100% feels like it's not showing. But let me show you why. Now, this will show you the difference between PX and percentages. You see how 100% just takes the 100% size of the container. See here? This is the body. This is the full size of the body. And then this is the actual size of the form right here. The form. Let me change it from 100% to 400 px now. The height of 400 px. Save and then refresh. You can see. You see how the px forces the height down. Forces it to go down. It does not follow any constraint or whatsoever. It forces its way. Take whatever size that it's given. That is what the px does. That's the difference between the px and then the percentage. And then if I try to resize the browser right here, if I try to resize the browser, see, it's not going to resize. It's going to stay that way because it's forced. And then it's going to look very weird. You see here? So forcing the height at times can be very, should I say, traumatic. Well, I'm going to take this out because I don't want the height to be forced. I don't like this. Let me show you with the 100%. See with the 100%. Oh, I didn't remember to refresh. Refresh. The 100%. Yeah. That's fine. Let me just go ahead and let me force the height back. Let me force the height to be 200 px. Save. Refresh. Okay, I think I like this. I like height. Okay. I also want the form to be at the center of the page. So you can have a very much more nice view. This isn't very advanced. Okay, let me use a new tag, div. So this div tag is just a division. It just creates a division. I'm going to move all these form elements into the div like this. I'll just highlight the form right here and then press Alt and then like up arrow to move all the elements of the form into the div. You can also just cut and paste it in there if you want. But this div tag just creates a division. It's just a division. Let me press save and then refresh. Can we see the div tag? Same thing. It just creates a division. See here. And then I want to give the div a class. Instead of an ID, I want to give it a class. A class kind of does the same thing that an ID does, but instead of being specific to an element, a class, you can give it to several elements. I can have multiple divs with the same class name because they all have the same styles. Let me show it to you. Let me just say container. This is title container. And then let me just do this. I can just add it down here anywhere I want. To access a class element, we use a dot notation, dot and then container. Container, and then I want to add it to the center of the browser. So I do a display of flex. And then justify content to center. Now this will shift elements to the center of the browser. Now I want it to be also at the actual center here. So I'll just put align items, center, save, and then refresh. Man, I need to make this in 100% height so that it can go all the way to the center of this page. So let me make the container take up the 100% height. Height, take up 100% height. I do that. And let me force the height. And give it a 500%, 500 px forced height. So here it's at the center. Okay. Now the form is at the center. This is a fun little form. I want to style this text right here. I don't like the way they look, and also this elements or this text elements. So I'll just go back here. We have Builder Studio text. I want it to be at the center as well. So here, Builder Studio text, text align, center, save, refresh. At the center, now it's at the center of the form. Then I want to style this username and this password to look more fancy. Okay. And since I want the username and the password to have the same styles, I will give both of them the same class. So I'll give this a class of text. And then the label here also same as class of text. You can give your class whatever name that you choose. Yes, then text right here. And then I want to change the color to white as well. I made a mistake. Like this. Save and then refresh. You can see it's white. White doesn't look so nice. White. What goes with purple? What color goes with purple? Beige. Let's see. There's beige to purple. Oh, it's not really nice. No. You guys are not so very fancy. Let me try to change the font. Maybe the font will make it look better. Font family. Let me make it this as well. Save. Refresh. Okay. So, and then I make it white. Let me make it white. I'll change the color back to white. And then save. Refresh. Okay. So we see both of them have white color. And I want to add a colon in front of it so it looks more nicely formatted. So colon here, refresh. I also want to increase the size of this two words, the username and the password. I want to increase the size. So let me do font size. Font size 10px. Refresh. Okay. It's a bug. Hey guys, bugs are very common. Bugs are very, very common. Oh, I have to put this in here. And then this also in here. Inside this. Refresh. Actually, I would have this container because these elements are appearing very unstructured on the UI. So let me just give this container a display of flex, and the container is this form here. I'm talking about this builder form, this builder's form. We can see that this is appearing very weird. So let me just check it with the display of flex. Display, flex, then refresh, and then change the flex direction to column, and then refresh. Okay, so see here, this is what I wanted. Now, because of the default value for align items is stretch, hence why the button is wide. But we are going to work on the button later. I'll give it a unique ID just to be able to identify it. But for now, I want to change this font size from 10 to 50, which is big. Let's see. Refresh. Oh, too big. 20. You see how PX forces the size? PX forces it. Okay. I want to style this input. I don't like the default styling. I want to change the style. I want both of the inputs to look the same. So after adding an ID to give them unique styles, I also want both of them to look the same. I can either give them both the same class of, let me say, inputs here. I want to give both of them the same class so I can give them the same styling because I want them to look the same. So let me just go here and then add the input styling. And then I would then increase size of the input. To 20 px. See the size is increased. I want to give it a very nice. I want to remove the focus. I don't like the focus. This blue, this border right here, this outline is the focus. Now remove it. No, I think I let it stay. Let me just make it more bigger. Let me change it to let's see. Refresh. It's too big. 20. Refresh. Okay. Let me give it a border. I like border so much. I think border makes things nice. Okay, let me give it a border of 8px. Refresh. Okay, so you see how curvy they look. There's no spacing between these two. Let me just give it them a gap. A gap. After adding flex, I can add gaps. The gap will apply to 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Refresh. What is this about? Oh yeah, flex direction. I mistakenly removed the flex direction. Sometimes you can make this kind of code bugs, you guys. You just need to be very meticulous with checking your code because at times you can make mistakes to clear things you don't intend to clear. This is a very good example. Okay. So I have these two. I want to add spacing to all of these elements. All these elements inside this forum. I want to add spacing to them. So I will just give them a gap of 10 px. That's where that goes. That's where that takes me. Okay, a gap of 10 px seems nice. Seems legit. Okay. All right. Already. A gap of 10 px seems nice. Now we should style this button. This submit button right here. So I'll just give this one an ID because I want a unique identifier of button. As always, I want to select the button and go with an hash because it's an ID of button. Then I want to give the button, let me change the color of the button, background color. Let me give it a background color. What goes with purple? You guys, this color thing is something. That button is not so fine. Let me just change the color to I don't know what goes with blue. Oh my god. Oh, I said what goes with purple. Let me try this. This form is looking ugly by the second. You guys, I don't have any design system to follow. I'm just freestyling. Okay, I want to change the width of the button. Guys, I know this button is very ugly, but just bear with me. Bear with me. Refresh. So this is the width of the button. No, I don't want this. I want to give it a width of 100 px. Refresh. Okay. Now I want the button to be centered at in this form. Because there's a display of flex on the container, these individual items have what's it called? Can inherit this property, align items. And then I can align the item to center. Align self, excuse me. It has access to this individual property, align self. Align self, like I want this individual button itself to move to the center. So refresh, move to the center. Now I want to add a padding into the button so it looks bigger. I want the button to be bigger. So padding, let me give it 8px all around. Let's see how that works. Okay, 8px padding all around looks great. You see here. Then I can add border radius. Because obviously I like border radius. I think it makes things look fine. Border radius of 4px. Man, 4px. Let's see. Refresh. So tiny. I think we've been able to build our font form. Just try writing in it. And see here, let me say John Doe at gmail.com. Even though it says username, I still want an email for still. So, and then I can add a password here because the input type is password right here. You will not be able to view the text. See, you'll be unable to view the text because it is of the type password. So whatever you type in, you're unable to view it. Okay. We can also have the input of type checkbox for the one that we use for what's the word? For the one that we use, let me have the input of the type checkbox. For the one that we use for forgot password. See here the suggestion, input type checkbox. And we refresh. See the checkbox here. Now the button, this one is at the center because of the same reason, which is because of this display of flex. Because of the display of flex in the container right here and the flex direction column, this here is at the center because of that. So I can as well move this in here so it doesn't inherit the style of the container. It just stays, it's going to stay here. Just see right here. So this is a radio button. So there are various and plenty styles that we can add, and there are so many ways that we can make this form more beautiful and more exciting. We have this sample web page that I built when I was just starting out to code. You guys check this out. Where you see here, we have this all built with HTML and CSS only. See right here. Okay. So I think that is the end of our form building right here. This is the simple, tiny, small app that we just built, this fun form. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, please ask your questions on Slido. I am getting ready to review them. Remember to tag me in your own example so I can see what you have done. I can see your progress and then send in constructive criticism. Also, if you want to review this fun app that we built, and I was just starting out to learn how to program, because I was also once like you, I was learning to program and I was like, what is this? What is this? What is that? So yeah, all this was built with HTML and CSS. You can see here. This fun little web app. You can see. See, that's fun web app. We can all work to build this together if we practice and take each day a step at a time. See? Yeah, this is just a fun little website that was built. Okay. This is the same as the radio button that I had on our fun little form right there. Okay, so you see this fun little stuff that I built. And I was learning to program for the first time. This is all built with HTML and CSS. Okay, guys, I'm getting ready to review your questions on Slido. Please remember to ask your wonderful questions. Remember, fear is just false evidence appearing real. So don't be afraid to ask your questions. There are no dumb questions. We're all amazing and smart people. Let me just go ahead and review. I'm going to turn off my camera now so I can. Oh, I am in. Messages network. Oh my gosh, there are a lot of messages. Pink goes with purple. Oh, thank you so much, Farida. You have such an amazing suggestion. Let me just go up to answer your questions. I'm so sorry, I could not review this. I was really working on the app. All right, I'm turning off my camera now so I can view your questions and answer appropriately. All right, question time. All right. Who is ready for questions? Let me go ahead and review these amazing people questions. These people are so smart. I wonder if they don't have questions that would really disturb me, because people are so smart. Referring to load of Slido. Okay. All right, so I don't think I'm seeing any questions from you guys here on Slido. Let me just try to copy this. Then drop it in the box so we can all ask our questions. Or you guys, do you prefer asking your question right here, or do you want to? I just dropped the link to Slido if you are interested, or maybe if we think it's pretty much more fun to ask the questions here, because we are starting to wrap up. It's almost 9 p.m. Do we have any questions? Remember, fear is false evidence appearing real. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Questions makes you smarter. You get to learn that way. You get to move on from that mistake faster. So ask your questions. Taking questions, you guys. Putting up for questions.
Good evening.
Hi, Parida. Could you type your question so I can quite grasp it well? Because if you talk, I might not be able to get each and every one of the words that you say.
Oh,
But thank you for the confidence. I really appreciate a lot of strength to speak up that way. So, guys, questions. I'm saying Farida is very confident. She's asking questions. You guys, other confident people, come up, ask those questions.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening.
Samuel. Hi, Samuel.
Yes.
Please, can you ask your question in the chat here or on Slido? Because
Shade.
I will not be able to get
The
what you're saying.
lectures
I will not be able to fully grasp it if you don't type it down.
Okay, let me send a chat then.
because I had network issues during the class, and I wanted to
Okay.
inquire how we'll get the
Oh, sorry about
the
that.
recording, and also, but from the little that network allowed me to watch and
Do you
participate, I
mean
really learned something.
do you mean the one with all the animations, the travel website, the Nator's website?
Yes.
You said?
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yes, it is hosted. You can just search up Nator's. The actual builder of the website, the one that taught me, has it hosted on, I think it's Vercel or something. You can just browse Nator's and then you will find it there. But if you want the code for it, I'm more than happy to share it so you can learn from it and just review, ask your questions. I would leave in the link to the project to Favor, and then Favor will send it to you if you feel like that will help you learn more. Any more questions? We still have more time, you guys. More questions. Any more questions pertaining to what I thought? Okay, in the absence of questions, I think I should go ahead and ask you people questions. You guys, okay. What you guys should just okay, you guys should just type in the answer in the message box. What's the word? What did I use to specify the color for the form, the main form? What properties did I use to specify the color for the main form? What property name did I use to specify the color on the form? I'm waiting for answers, smart people. Waiting for it in this comment box. My eyes are open. Okay. Do I have any answers there? What did I use to specify the background color? In 3, 2, 1. All right. So I don't think anybody came up to answer that. So the property I used to specify background color was the property I used to specify the color was background color. Another question: how was I able to select the class property in the link in the CSS file? What did I use to select the class property? Does any one of us class and I yes. Yeah. How did I select it in the CSS file? Inside the style sheet, how did I select that class? What did I use, Farida? Oh, that's so great. Wow, Farida, you were really participating. Thank you. That is so smart. You guys, thank you, Farida. You're actually very, very correct. Very, very confident of you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Next question. I think this will be the last and final question before our closing remarks. How did I link? What is the name of the tag that I used to link the HTML and the CSS together? What is the name? Anybody? Anybody? The name of the tag I used to link the HTML and the CSS together so I can marry them off so they can have an idea of who each other are and then get to connect with each other. What is the name? That is so smart, Farida. Thank you. Okay, you guys, that is the last question for today, and we are all amazing people. You've really done so much and learned so much. Remember to always ask questions. Thank you, Farida, for your answers, and thank you everybody for participating. I appreciate each and every one of you. This will be our closing remarks. Favor, do we have anything for these amazing people today? All right, so in the absence of any, I think we can all start exiting the meeting. Thank you, everybody. We're all amazing. Right, so we can start exiting the meeting. Thank you guys so much. Favor, please, the students, if they have questions, please reach out to me with whatever questions that they have. I'm more than willing to answer those questions. All right, bye, you guys. Thank you, Farida. All right, see you guys later.